The story began in a mysterious world that existed thousands of kilometers below the surface of the earth, where dangerous creatures spread terror from the skies to the depths of the water. It was here that we first saw the guardian of this world, King Kong, who had arrived at the edge of a lake with a small monkey. But he had no idea that he was about to fall into a trap that had already been set. The small monkey suddenly sensed that a great danger was hiding inside the lake ahead. Even so, he deliberately provoked Kong into stepping into the water, but his trickery could not be hidden from Kong. Kong simply sniffed the surrounding air lightly and immediately understood that he was about to get a good hunt today. After that, Kong stepped into the lake without saying a word and began bathing comfortably. Meanwhile, the small monkey got nervous that his plan might be discovered, so he began pretending to drink water. Just then, a strange creature suddenly started moving toward them at great speed. While bathing, Kong also sensed the danger. As soon as he turned around to look, a massive dragon leaped at him with its enormous mouth wide open. Seeing this, the small monkey understood that his plan had succeeded, and he immediately began running toward the shore to save himself. Kong had won every kind of battle on land, but he was facing this kind of enemy in water for the very first time. Kong was still trying to understand its moves when the dragon suddenly dragged him straight down into the lake. But it did not know how dangerous Kong becomes when he is angry. Meanwhile, the small monkey was thinking that he had finally escaped Kong forever. But the very next moment, King Kong's massive weapon came crashing down right in front of him. Before the small monkey could understand anything, Kong slammed the severed head of the dragon right in front of him. Seeing this, the small monkey thought that Kong would now beat him badly, but Kong did nothing. Instead, he picked up his axe and gestured for him to move forward. In fact, the monkey did not know that King Kong had been wandering alone in this world for thousands of years, searching for someone like himself. He went hungry every day, and the dangerous wolves of this place would often chase him around and trouble him. When hundreds of wolves came after him, he would somehow escape with the help of a leap. But this time, the pack of wolves did not give up the chase. They kept trying to surround him continuously. Finally, when a deep gorge appeared in front of him and no escape route was left, he was forced to turn around and prepare himself to fight. The wolves thought that this time the hunt would be easy, but they had no idea that King Kong had already set a trap and was waiting. As soon as one wolf leaped, Kong's trap suddenly activated, and the wolf was immediately caught in it. As it fell into the pit, sharp wooden spears pierced right through the wolf. Seeing the right moment, Kong immediately picked up the heavy trunk of a tree and threw it into the pit. As the traps activated one by one, large boulders began rolling down from the mountain and crashing below, and the wolves trying to escape got trapped right there. But even as the dust cleared, some wolves that had survived alive were still not ready to give up the hunt. In his anger, King Kong grabbed the carcass of one wolf and, displaying his strength, tore it apart forcefully into two pieces. Seeing this, the remaining wolves tucked their tails and fled from there out of fear. However, even after getting food, there was no happiness on King Kong's face because a rotting tooth in his mouth had been troubling him greatly. Meanwhile, a lizard hiding nearby saw its chance and ran off with a piece of meat. King Kong immediately lunged to stop it, but just then, his attention was drawn to a sound that came from a distance. Hearing that roar coming from the valley, he felt that perhaps someone of his own kind was calling out to him, so he immediately ran off in that direction. But upon reaching there, he found only a strange frog that was making a sound just like his own. Even after wandering for years, he was still alone, and this emptiness was breaking him from within. Finally, the pain of the tooth forced him to seek help from humans. Even though he did not want to, he entered the human world. Upon arriving there, King Kong fell down on the hillside and began waiting for help. Just then, by a stroke of luck, the eyes of some scientists fell on him. But in their panic, the humans gave him a heavy dose of anesthesia for safety, which made him fall unconscious right there. After this, they called the most famous dentist in the city. Without wasting a single moment, the dentist tightly tied a strong steel wire around the rotten tooth to pull it out. In that very moment, Kong let out a foul, rotten stench from his mouth. Once all the preparations were complete, just as the spacecraft suddenly took off into the air, with a single jerk, King Kong's massive tooth came right out. When King Kong regained consciousness, he saw that his old tooth had now been replaced with a strong titanium tooth. With this new tooth, a tremendous power came within him, making him feel that he could now defeat anyone. But just then, an emergency signal suddenly arrived in the lab from King Kong's world, which startled everyone. To find out the truth behind this signal, the scientists immediately assembled a rescue team and started the mission. They jumped into the portal along with King Kong, which led directly to Kong's world. As they moved forward, their spacecraft began getting pulled rapidly downward, and within just a few moments, they entered that mysterious world. Upon reaching home, Kong saw that his food had been stolen. He immediately picked up his axe and went straight straight to the top of the cliff. There he saw that a faint blue light was coming out from inside a deep crack, which caught his attention. To find out the truth, he leaped straight down into that depth without a second thought. As soon as he reached the pitch darkness, his axe began glowing on its own. As the light fell around him, he saw that strange glowing stones were scattered all around, reacting to this light. Just then, a terrifying roar suddenly echoed from a distance. Following that sound, he reached beyond a waterfall, where he discovered a new hidden world. Moving slowly forward, he sensed a strange smell that was drawing him toward it. Suddenly, an extremely dangerous and enormous shadow appeared before him. Seeing it, King Kong immediately raised his axe and prepared himself for a confrontation. As the distance between the two kept reducing, that massive shadow gradually grew smaller, and when it came into full view, the truth turned out to be something else entirely. In reality, it was no monster at all, but a small, innocent, yellow-haired monkey. Seeing which, Kong himself was also taken aback. For the first time in thousands of years, upon seeing someone like himself, King Kong immediately bowed down and put his weapon down. After that, he extended his hand forward to make friends with the monkey. He had thought that the small monkey would also be happy upon seeing someone like himself, but suddenly he bit King Kong hard. After finding someone like himself with so much difficulty, King Kong did not want to let him go so easily. So he ran after the monkey, but just then suddenly a frightening shadow appeared behind him, which startled him badly, because he had never seen a bald gorilla of his own size before. As soon as Kong began moving toward it, suddenly two long-armed gorillas came from behind and threw him forcefully to the ground. The smile on the bald one's face made it clear that they had come with the intention to fight. So King Kong now also made up his mind to finish them off. He immediately picked up a stone and hurled it straight at the gorilla. In his anger, the bald one also charged to attack him, but Kong outsmarted him as well. Within just a few moments, he kept knocking everyone to the ground. Even the bald one could do nothing even after picking up Kong's axe, and was laid flat on his back. Just as King Kong moved forward to pick up his weapon, the small yellow monkey suddenly came running and tried to leap at his face and attack him. Seeing this, King Kong grabbed him too, and using him as a weapon gave a thorough beating to the rest of the gorillas. Although they knew that they could not face King Kong, they still kept attacking him one by one. In the meantime, one monkey accidentally fell into a gorge, but King Kong showed quick reflexes and immediately grabbed him and pulled him up. But instead of being grateful, he picked up a knife from the ground and struck King Kong with it. Seeing this, King Kong's anger flared up, and he gave one powerful kick and threw him back into the deep gorge again. Seeing this, the bald one got scared and immediately turned around and began to flee. King Kong picked up a nearby stone and threw it at him, which hit him directly in the head. Even after getting hurt, he muttered something and fled from there without looking back. Just then, King Kong grabbed that monkey hiding among the trees, pulled him out, and slammed him forcefully to the ground, after which he picked up the bald one's fallen knife from the ground and signaled to the small monkey to take him to the gorilla's hideout. The poor small monkey had no choice but to walk ahead, and King Kong kept moving behind him. As they went deeper inside, more and more dangerous animals became visible to them. But inside this seemingly peaceful place, danger was hidden at every step. The small monkey cleverly led him to the area where the massive dragon lived, trying to save himself, but he did not know that this trick of his was not going to last long in front of King Kong. Suddenly, a massive dragon stood in his path, but instead of being afraid, Kong finished it off within just a few minutes, and then sat down comfortably and began eating it. Seeing this, the small monkey also wanted to come near him, but out of fear, he could not gather the courage. King Kong, seeing his condition, broke off a piece of meat himself and extended it toward him. Even then, the small monkey could not bring himself to trust him. Seeing this, King Kong got angry and threw the meat on the ground, as if to say, "Eat it if you want, otherwise get lost." The monkey, weak with hunger, immediately began eating the meat, and with every bite, his perspective also began to change. He started to feel that King Kong was not as bad as he had been thinking. Gradually, he gathered the courage to come and sit next to King Kong, and the two began spending time together, peacefully. In that moment, it felt exactly like a father spending peaceful moments with his child, but they had no idea at all that as they were moving forward, danger was rapidly coming toward them. As soon as they went deeper, King Kong finally caught sight of creatures like himself, but seeing them broke his heart because they were all living in a very terrible condition. They were all forced to do labor all day long, and their life was no less than hell. During this time, time, an old monkey accidentally dropped a stone, which made a gorilla angry, and he beat the old monkey badly. Seeing this, King Kong could not hold himself back, and he struck his axe hard into the ground and picked up the old monkey. Just then, a guard present there got angry and ran toward King Kong, warning him not to interfere. But the very next moment, King Kong's courage lit a spark of hope in the rest of the monkeys. But at that very same time, the bald one who had fled was watching all of this. He immediately went and told the king of this place, Scar King, everything. Hearing the gorilla's words, Scar King's anger burst out. As soon as he rose from his throne, all the monkeys in his path bowed down before him. But King Kong stood there without any fear. Scar King looked at him carefully, and upon seeing the steel tooth in Kong's mouth, he laughed. But the very next moment, he kicked a monkey and threw him into molten lava to vent his anger. Seeing this, King Kong's rage reached its peak. To show his power, Scar King pulled out the weapon from his shoulder and prepared himself to teach King Kong a lesson. King Kong also immediately raised his axe, and a fierce battle began between the two. Taking advantage of his long weapon, he launched a sudden attack, and King Kong could not recover even for a moment. Scar King used the crystal fitted on the weapon to land multiple strikes on Kong. In his anger, Kong pounced on him. In terms of strength, he could not stand before King Kong, so he kept his distance from Kong and kept launching continuous attacks, and King Kong was gradually forced to retreat. In the meantime, King Kong's axe also slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, he used his weapon to grip King Kong's throat and began trying to bring him under control. Scar King thought that he had now won the battle, but King Kong used all his strength, lifted him up, and slammed him hard to the ground. King Kong knocked him down in no time. Just then, Scar King decided that he would only be satisfied after showing him his true power. Just as the stone embedded in his weapon began to glow, the gorillas suddenly dropped boulders and blocked the path of the lava. At that very moment, the eyes of the terrifying monster hidden in the cave became visible. The scorching ground suddenly turned to ice, and out came that same massive creature, Titan Shimo, who had once frozen the entire world in ice. Scar King immediately ordered him to attack Kong, but Shimo did not look pleased with this command. As more pressure was put on him, he writhed in pain and was forced to attack. King Kong quickly leaped and saved himself from the first strike. After that, he placed his axe in front of him and tried to steady himself. But all his efforts began to weaken against Shimo's power. Right before their eyes, his hand began to freeze and kept turning to ice. This sudden attack badly injured his right hand, and he began to weaken. Seeing the opportunity, Scar King immediately gave the order to finish him off. Just as the next attack was about to happen, the small monkey came running from behind, pointed toward a tunnel, and began telling him to run immediately. At that very moment, Shimo was forced to attack again. Seeing this, King Kong immediately turned around and quickly dashed inside the tunnel. But even now, hundreds of dangerous monkeys were still after him. The good thing was that, having lived there for years, Kong had set many traps throughout the jungle. But the number of those monkeys was so great that the injured Kong was quickly cornered on a dead-end path by them. Now he only had this last trap left, which he could rely on. But the monkeys who had been getting caught in traps all along the way, this time suddenly became alert. They immediately spotted the vine lying on the ground, which was meant to activate the trap. When Kong saw that his plan had failed, he felt that his end was near. At that very moment, the trap set up on the hillside suddenly activated, and hundreds of tons of heavy boulders came crashing straight down on them, burying all the monkeys present there under those rocks. Just then, Kong saw that the one who had activated the trap was none other than that same monkey. Now Kong was badly injured and was not in a condition to fight, so he began making his way back to the humans with the support of the small monkey. But he had no idea that one monkey had still survived. Meanwhile, the scientists who had come along with Kong saw that their base had been completely destroyed. Just then, their eyes fell on a massive handprint carved on top of a rock, from which they guessed that there were more massive creatures like Kong present in this world. Soon they reached deep into the jungle, where they spotted a hidden mechanism. As soon as the girl pressed it, water began flowing down from several places at that very moment. That water combined to form a strong current and began flowing inward into the jungle. Following it, the scientists reached in front of a mysterious, magical wall, which had concealed an invisible place inside the jungle. As soon as they touched that wall, a blue glow ran through it. Seeing this, they immediately made a hole in the wall, and just then, a sight appeared before them that left their eyes wide open. Behind the wall existed a beautiful and mysterious world, the likes of which had never been seen by anyone, nor had anyone ever heard of it. As soon as the scientists stepped into this world, they were immediately surrounded by the tribal people of that world. These people looked like humans, but their appearance was completely different from any normal human. Without causing any harm to the scientists, they took them straight to their tribe. Upon reaching there, they came to know that these people had been living beneath the earth for thousands of years and were guarding the portal that was directly connected to the world above. Scar King had been searching for this very place for years so that he could use this portal to take over the human world. At that very same time, following the scent of humans, King Kong reached the scientists. But because of the invisible wall, he could not see the world inside. So the tribal people created a crack in that magical wall through which Kong easily slipped inside and came straight among the humans. But they did not know that the monkey who had been following them had seen all of this. Just as King Kong reached in front of the humans, he weakened and collapsed straight to the ground. The scientists saw that Kong's hand was badly injured, and he was now in no condition to do anything at all. Seeing this, the doctor immediately decided that Kong's hand would have to be completely replaced. The idea of a mechanical arm came to him instantly. This was the same super mechanical arm that the humans had designed to make Kong even more powerful. The good thing was that this gadget was still safely stored in the underground mechanical store built below the now destroyed base. Soon the doctor retrieved it from there and brought it directly over Kong's body and let it go. And just then, that machine, on its own, recognized Kong's injured part and began attaching itself. As soon as the special medicine inside that arm entered Kong's body, the unconscious Kong began to feel a new strength. The joy on his face was clearly showing that he was very happy with this new weapon. But just then, the small monkey suddenly came running from inside the jungle and arrived there. He told Kong that Scar King had already found out the location of the portal and that he was planning to attack the tribe along with Shimo. Kong alone could not face Scar King and Shimo, so only one option was left for him: to go to the human world and wake up Godzilla, who had been sleeping for many years. But he had absolutely no idea that the very one he was going to call for his help, that same Godzilla, was going to turn out to be his greatest danger. Suddenly, the ground around the pyramid began shaking rapidly, and a mechanical hand came out from below. This was the very place that opened the portal to reach the surface. Soon, Kong came out through the portal. As soon as Godzilla sensed Kong's presence, he suddenly woke from his sleep and, without wasting a single moment, began moving straight toward him. As soon as he came face to face with Kong, Godzilla felt that Kong had come to challenge him. So without wasting a single moment, he came crashing down on him at full speed. The anger filled in his eyes was clearly showing that he was not going to let Kong live. Seeing Godzilla rushing toward him at great speed, Kong raised his hand and tried to make him understand. But Godzilla was not going to listen to anything anymore. He rammed into Kong directly and threw him hundreds of meters away. When Godzilla did not stop, Kong attacked from behind so that he could somehow calm him down. But as the sand got into his eyes, Godzilla became even more enraged. He turned around and locked Kong's hand in his jaws and slammed him hard to the ground, which left Kong completely dazed. Kong had not even recovered yet when Godzilla came crashing down on him again. When words achieved nothing, Kong also began a fierce counterattack. Although Godzilla was in his most powerful form, but with the strength of the mechanical arm, Kong was now no less than anyone. But when Kong saw that he was not going to be able to defeat Godzilla, he grabbed him without wasting a single moment and began forcefully dragging him toward the portal. On the other side, the tribal people mixed a special red liquid into the water to stop Scar King. As soon as the liquid dissolved in the water, a magical transformation began. A system was activated that began connecting two massive pyramids with each other, and as these pyramids connected, gravity would cease for a period of time, causing everyone to float in the air, which would make it nearly impossible for Scar King to reach the portal. But before the pyramids could fully connect, Scar King arrived there. Upon arriving, he immediately recognized that anti-gravity system. He immediately ordered Shimo to block the path between the pyramids with ice. Just then, suddenly, a bright light emerged from the portal and fell to the ground. The very next moment, Godzilla and Kong came tearing through the rubble and emerged outside. As soon as Godzilla's eyes fell on Shimo and Scar King, he immediately understood why Kong had brought him here. So without wasting a single second, he joined forces with Kong and pounced on them. On the other side, Scar King also began advancing toward them, along with Shimo. Neither side was weak in any way. Just as all four clashed, at that very moment the ice shattered and the pyramids collided with each other. The wave generated from that collision wiped out the gravity of the entire place. Everyone began floating in the air, but even without gravity, Godzilla kept moving swiftly and went straight toward Shimo. Meanwhile, the cunning Scar King picked up Kong's axe and used it to attack Kong himself. But Kong blocked every strike with his mechanical arm. In just a few moments, the situation reversed, and Kong began to overpower Scar King. But due to the greater number of enemies, attacks began coming at him from behind. Seeing this, the small monkey picked up a stone and began helping Kong. Just then, seizing the opportunity, Shimo attacked Godzilla, and within just a few moments, completely froze him in ice. But Godzilla was no less than him either. He broke the ice in a single jolt. At that very same moment, the anti-gravity system shut off and gravity returned once again. Seizing the opportunity, Scar King slipped out of Kong's grip and jumped straight into the portal. To stop him, Godzilla and Kong also jumped in after him. But in all this commotion, Kong's axe was left behind. On the other side, the humans had no idea whatsoever about how great a danger was about to come. Suddenly, the waves of the ocean froze solid into mountains of ice. The very next moment, Scar King arrived on Earth along with Shimo. Receiving the light of the open sky, he looked at the humans below and let out a thunderous roar. Now he felt that the time had come to rule the entire world. He ordered Shimo to freeze the sky. Shimo did not want to do this. Even so, he was forced to begin raining ice in every direction. Right before their eyes, buildings also began to crumble and collapse in this destruction. Just when Scar King felt that nothing could stop him now, Kong landed a powerful punch and knocked his 3-ton tooth to the ground. In his anger, Scar King ordered an attack on Kong, but at that very same moment, Godzilla arrived there and stopped Shimo. Now, without Shimo's help, Scar King could not hold out for long, so he picked up a massive building and threw it toward Kong, but it caused no particular harm to Kong. Just then, suddenly Shimo came from behind and pounced on Kong's mechanical arm. Shimo began freezing Kong's arm again. Seeing this, Scar King felt that his victory was now certain, but he ignored Godzilla standing behind him, filled with rage. Godzilla immediately awakened his full power, and his body blazed with a purple glow. The very next moment, he launched a powerful attack directly at Scar King, but Scar King somehow escaped in a panic. He tried to counterattack with his weapon, but Godzilla caught it and snapped it into 2 pieces with a single jerk, which caused the crystal that was controlling Shimo to fall to the ground. Scar King lunged to pick it up, but Godzilla gave him no opportunity. Now everything hinged on that crystal. Whoever got the crystal in their hands would be the one to win this battle. In that crucial moment, the small monkey's eyes fell on Kong's abandoned axe. He immediately leaped down and picked up the axe and made his way into the human world. As soon as his eyes fell on that crystal lying on the ground, without wasting any time, he smashed it to pieces with a single blow of the axe. The moment the crystal shattered, Shimo was completely freed. Scar King, filled with rage, was just about to grab the small monkey and kill him. But Kong came in between and pounced on him, and in just a few punches, knocked Scar King flat. Now without that crystal, Scar King had grown weak. On the other side, the now freed Shimo began looking toward Godzilla, as if waiting for some signal, and then, after thousands of years, he did what he had always wanted to do. In just one moment, he turned Scar King into an ice statue. The very next moment, Kong hurled him into the air and slammed him to the ground with full force, shattering his body right there. Now the battle was over, but the work of healing the world remained. Just then, Godzilla looked toward the sky and released a tremendous energy, which cleared the dark clouds and sunlight gradually returned to the earth. After this, Godzilla returned to his territory and once again fell into a deep sleep, and Kong returned back into the depths of the earth with his new companion, where he began a new beginning together with his tribe. And the movie ends here. If you liked the video, then like it and subscribe for more such videos. Keep watching Movie Decode.